Hey everybody, Don here again. Today we're going to do another cooking video. What's on the menu? Deer head soup. Mmm. What? Do you think I'm crazy? Seriously now, do you think I'm crazy? Because I may be crazy, but I ain't stupid. If I cooked that in the kitchen, well, let's just say my wife Karen, who is one of the sweetest people in the world, she might remove parts of my anatomy that I'm pretty attached to. So this is going out to the garage. See if I can get out here without falling on my butt. All right, so you probably figured out by now I am not making deer head soup. Brains just aren't my thing. If they're yours, hey, that's great. You are definitely more of a savage than me, and I mean that in the best way. But no, what I'm going to do is make a European skull mount. Unfortunately, I didn't kill a buck this year, but luckily my neighbor Charlie got a couple bucks, and the one he shot here in New Hampshire he's having mounted, and I offered to do the skull mount on his main buck. And he was happy to have me do it. I've done a couple for him in the past. So that's what we're going to do. And there's the apparatus that I use. It's a two-burner, kind of a lobster pot or a deep fryer burner, whatever you got. The top one, I don't know, is 40,000 BTU burner. The chafing pan under that is 120,000 BTU jet boiler, and that'll really get things cranked up. I like to use the chafing pan because I can do two deer heads in it simultaneously, and it's like the perfect depth just to get up to the base of the antlers. So I'm going to do that. First thing I got to do is hook up the propane and fill up some water. I was supposed to do two deer heads, which I like to do two at a time, but the other guy never called me back. So I'll do Charlie's, and if you're done with it, open that up and open that up. Let's see. There you go. Now, when I crank that up, that thing will rip. Ooh, yeah, that'll get the water boiling in a hurry. Let's pan over the fire. All right. And now we wait. Forgot the most important ingredient. This is sodium carbonate. Get this from Van Dyke's Taxidermy, and this will help get the meat and the fat out of the skull a lot quicker. Sodium carbonate you can buy from any taxidermy place. I bought it from Van Dyke's Taxidermy. I got a 5-pound box of it for $9.99. I think the shipping was 15 bucks, so for 25 bucks. You put a cup of it into 5 gallons of water, I believe it is. And what it does is it really helps speed up the meat coming off the bone. And the good thing about it is it will not discolor the antlers at all. If you've got nice dark bases like Charlie's does, they won't change at all. Let that cool down for a little bit. I turned the boil down to a slow boil just to keep the water hot. It's kind of a gross job to begin with. You know, next year I'm going to do something different. I got to buy a pressure washer for another job I have, and I've seen some people, they get it down to about this point, put the pressure washer to it, takes it right off the bone. And I don't know if I want to try that on somebody else's skull, but I'll try it on mine. I mean, I see where that can just take hours of time off of this job, because this takes a good amount of time getting all this meat and stuff off. I didn't boil it for very long. A little bit over an hour and a half, I guess. The inside the nose, there's a lot of cartilage. I generally get all that right out of there. I'll throw it back in for a little bit. Okay, we're on the second boil. Spent a little bit of time picking it, getting the main bigger chunks of meat off of it. Got the lower jaws, got most of the inside stuff out. We're going to let it go for another 15-20 minutes. Put a little bit more of the powder in there. And gave me a chance to kind of clean the garage a little bit. Work on an antler project I'm doing for a friend. Yeah, so we'll get back to that boiling and picking in just a little bit. All right, round 2. You want to be careful. You don't want to put too much pressure on this nose. I've got the nose down, and you don't want to break those bones off. If you do, you can glue them back in, a little super glue, but just don't want to put too much pressure. Well, most of that is pretty clean. It's good and dry. I'll show you the whitening process. It's pretty easy. And I'll have this thing done for Charlie probably tonight. But it won't be ready to go until it's good and dry, so that'll be tomorrow. So I'm going to shut everything down out here in the garage and move back into the house. So first I'm just going to take this wire brush and just try to scrape some of these last little bits of meat off. Really not much on here. You can see some staining in here, but for the most part it came pretty clean. I'm going to lighten it up once I'm done with this. I want to be careful. The peroxide will brighten it up really nice. There's still a little fat here in the thick part of the skull. I don't know if you can see that I didn't boil it quite long enough to get that out, but it'll lighten up pretty well when I put the peroxide on it. The whitening agent that I'm using will take this color off the antlers. So because this is Charlie's buck, I'm going to be careful with it. I'm just going to wrap the antlers with foil, just so I don't, accidentally get any up on the antlers themselves. I'm not going to get too sloppy with this stuff, so I'm not too worried about it, but I just want to get it on the surfaces here and just keep it off the bases as much as I can. I put it on with a brush, so it's not that messy. So you get a kick out of this. Even though I bought these products from a taxidermy company, I think I told you it was Van Dyke's Taxidermy, they are hair salon products. Quick White, which is a super strength powder lightener. This is for those older gals with white hair who like to keep it nice and bright. And a 40% stabilizer formula, which is really peroxide. So I'm going to mix up a paste of this, and once it's at a good consistency, I'll spread it all over the skull, and then let it sit and dry. Ooh, it smells potent. You can see this stuff is starting to get a little thicker. I'm a little bit bummed here. I don't think I really let this go long enough. There's a fine balance when you're boiling between letting it go too far and having it compromise the bone. It's starting to crack and split, and not going far enough to get all of the fat out. And I think I went a little bit light on the thyme, and there is still some fat content on the back part of the skull. We'll see how it looks in the morning. This takes a few hours to dry, and when it's all dried, I'll take a toothbrush and I'll just brush it off, and it should be nice and white. All right, well, this is sat overnight. Just take this wire brush and scrape this stuff off. Looks like it whitened up really nice. All right, everybody. Well, we're getting a little bit of snow today, but I wanted to bring it outside to show you the finished product. Yeah, it came out all right. I'm pretty happy with it. I think Charlie will be happy with it, and that's what counts. I hope this video was helpful. Apologize that it was so long. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.